So the purpose of this video, I want to ask you a question. Can you tell me how long or when you got started fly fishing? What got you into fly fishing? Well, I remember vividly reading an outdoor magazine and seeing these guys catching these huge, beautiful fish on a fly rod. Now, as a kid, looking at a magazine and not knowing geography or anything like that at 9 years old, I thought that if I had a fly rod, I could catch those big fish in my little creeks. Nothing could be further from the truth, though. So what happened, or what got me started into it after reading that magazine, was that I had seen a fly rod outfit, really cheap fly rod outfit, at a hardware store back in right around 1964. I'm pretty sure it was in 64. And my mom and dad couldn't really, afford giving me 20 bucks, because 20 bucks back then was actually a pretty good little hunk of change for people who didn't really have, skilled trades. So what I did was, I had a little red wagon, and what I did with that red wagon was I pulled it behind me and I went up and down the streets that I lived on, a street north, a street south, and 2 streets south was Fifth Avenue, which is a main thoroughfare. And what I was banking on was the people who were out driving around drinking a soda would throw their bottles out the window. That happened a lot back then. And with my little red wagon, the bottles were at that time they were worth 2 cents a piece. After saving up about 20 bucks, I went back to the hardware store and bought that outfit. And it had everything needed to get started, including the tippet, not tapered, and some fly. I remember that kit having a couple of poppers in it, and one of them was yellow. And I didn't really know how to tie a tippet on. I found out quickly I couldn't tie the popper to the fly line, and I assumed that's what that extra line was for. It was actually just a straight, probably about a 6-pound monofilament or something like that. And so I tied that tippet onto my fly line with a square knot. I was in the Cub Scouts, so one of the first things that they do is teach you how to tie knots, and a square knot was a really good one. So that's what I did. So I really didn't know how to cast. So what I did was I pulled line off of the rod and coiled it up into my hand, laid the rod down pointing towards the creek, and threw it out like a lasso. And once it got out into the creek, it kind of started floating downstream a little bit because it was in some riffles. And then what happened was a smallie hit it, a nice smallie. It was, for me it was nice. It was for a 9-year-old boy out with a fly rod for his first time. A 12-inch smallmouth is a nice smallmouth, and I'm pretty sure it was right around that 12-inch range. It might have been a little bigger. It might have been a little smaller. I don't know. But as that popper floated down the riffles into a little pool, a smallmouth spotted it, and it gave a ferocious splash. And you talk about adrenaline rush. I didn't know what to do, but I was able to set the hook because all the line was out, and I had a rod just like you would any other rod, and I just pulled up and set the hook. Well, I didn't know how to reel it in. So what I did was I turned around, flipped the fly rod on my shoulder, and dragged the line and the smallie up on the bank as I ran away from the water. And the rest is really kind of history with me in fly fishing. I've been doing it again for, well, I'm 68 now, so 59 years just about. So it's been a journey and it's been a blast. And at 68, and it won't be too much longer, I'll be 69, I have plans because I try to take care of myself, watch what I eat, and all that kind of stuff. I have plans on walking up and down these creeks into my 80s and possibly into my 90s. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is to be able to take care of yourself. So if you really liked this story, please comment with your own story. Hit that like button and consider subscribing. This is Mike. Thanks for watching.